So we are in 2023, and these are my predictions for Bom Filipides, what is going to happen and what's happening to the market. Last year, we've seen that there has been a lot of havoc in the world. We've been hearing about a potential recession coming, with the war, with pandemic effect, what has been happening and what really is going to happen in 2023. With the stop of the golden visa in the beginning of 2022, this led to quite a lot of properties between the 500,000 euro range up to around 700,000 euro range not being sold as much. Some developers that had catered their apartments for these type of properties were seeing a decrease in its value. Around 7% decrease is what we're seeing. Now, what has changed in the golden visa whilst we're here? Golden visa, we have found some loopholes to investment. First of all, a lot of developers started buying buildings. Instead of converting into residential real estate, they found they could convert into touristic residences. This means that you still get to own your apartment, but you can also rent it out, and it is a touristic license that allows for the golden visa investment to still be eligible at 500,000 euros. Not only that, we're going to see, and we have been seeing, that investors have been seeking outside of the city into less densely populated areas, such as around Milides, for example, Comporta as well, and more into the inland. We're seeing these big developments coming and beautiful properties that you can find around 500,000 euros and above, and you can rent these out for very interesting return on investments. This is going to continue to rise in 2023, and we're going to see investors carrying on investing in these areas. Furthermore, in even more less densely populated areas, we can see that you can buy a golden visa unit for 280,000 euros only. We're getting people from all around the world, new investors from India, from Taiwan, from Vietnam, from US, from everywhere, that technically they just want to have a golden visa, but they do want to have a good investment. Where can they invest and where can they get that for as cheaply as possible? The answer here is investing more in the less densely populated areas. To hear more about golden visa investments, you can check out our link on golden visa properties and investments. More on 223. What we're going to see and what we have been seeing is a huge influx of US investors. US investors are coming into Portugal. Why? The dollar is very strong compared to the euro, and they've also seen that there is an exceptional quality of life in this country. In fact, did you know that Portugal is ranked #1 best place to retire in the world, thanks to its quality of life and thanks to, of course, its wonderful healthcare and medical systems. It is ranked 12th in the world according to the World Health Organization. Isn't that pretty cool? And not just that, 6th safest place in the world to live. Havoc around the world, political instability in Brazil, for example, and the ease of the language has meant that a lot of Brazilians have come to Portugal and are still flowing in the country. What does this mean, and how will investments change this year? There's going to be a large amount of demand for investors that require community living, more condominium style. These will cater to more Brazilian clients, and as well digital nomads looking for a community, looking for to live together. So I believe there's going to be a rise of condominiums and people looking to live in a gated community. There might be more investments there. The digital nomad visa, check out our video for a little bit more information on that, has meant that there's a lot of digital nomads arriving to Portugal. This allows for more community living and much more demand for these type of properties. US investors and any foreign investors generally, with the rise of schools in Cascais, for example, has meant there's a huge influx of demand of luxury properties. There's going to be a need to refurbish beautiful properties to become even more luxurious. Cascais is still booming and always will be booming. Lisbon, for example, there is a large demand for outdoor space, for beautiful properties, and of course, for river view properties. This is going to continue in 2023 as we're seeing all of these investors from around the world, especially catered to their international demand. Let's talk about Comporta. Comporta in Milides, beautiful sandy beaches, 60 kilometers of beach. This is an area that is still rising, and that demand for beautiful nature, for landscape, especially after the pandemic, is still rising. We're seeing more investors and more people wishing to buy secondary homes in these areas. Continuing on the investment side, as we have seen, construction has been quite difficult. Licensing has been difficult. It's hard to find contractors at times. And let's just face it, it's not easy to be a developer, especially in a foreign country. What we're advising to our clients, and what we've seen, we've been able to make some very good return on investments, is buying in bulk and buying pre-commercial residential units with developers. Here we can buy units pre-sale. This means even before it hits the market, and within the time that it's built, and maybe sometimes even before, usually these can be sold at a 20 to 30% profit. If you have a good broker, if you know your market, and if you work with the right developer as well, you can buy these properties and they will continue to rise. These are what we call very safe investments. There is a large demand for more properties to rent. There is a huge lack of supply of beautiful and luxurious rental properties. Here, I believe there's investment opportunities. If you refurbish apartments, if you refurbish villas for rental, that's a market to tap into. So investor side, there's so much more to do in Portugal. As you hear me talking always about luxury properties, beautiful properties in this high end, it's not just the case. You can find some wonderful properties that are in that medium range that you can renovate, and there are definitely profits to be made. These properties can be located in Lisbon, around Comporta, around Cascais, or inside of the country. They do exist, and yes, you can find them here in Portugal. Quality of life in this gorgeous, gorgeous country is what is continuing to allow such large demand for living in Portugal. Wouldn't you want to live here?